of Renee Nicole Good, someone's name who we should all remember. And let me tell you, it is very encouraging to see how this community has absolutely stepped up on either side of this block. 33rd Street, 34th Street is blocked off with debris, with barrels, with just blockage, and with signs that say ICE stay out, forbidding federal authorities from entering this space, which will remain sacred, I'm sure, for quite a while. It is, in the face of tragedy like this, it is amazing to see a community come together. A lot of these people probably don't even know each other, and they are gathering together, wrapping their arms around each other to support one another in this tragedy that was absolutely avoidable and unnecessary, if not for fascism and the power-hungry white supremacists within the Donald Trump administration, things we talk about every single day. This could have been predicted, and in fact, it was predicted. When you send thousands of agents into a community of this size, Minneapolis is not a giant city, it's not New York City, this isn't Chicago, this isn't Los Angeles, this is Minneapolis. And when Donald Trump sends his masked secret police in to murder civilians, to kidnap community members, what does anybody expect? We're going to be talking to some people, getting some reactions. Stay tuned. Standing out here in front of the memorial to Renee Nicole Good, again, a name we need to all remember. Standing here with Mandy, local to the area, and I guess just to throw a general at you, like what's your general reaction to all of this happening right now and the reaction to it? How are you feeling?
Yesterday as things were unfolding, it was disbelief, but also I feel like we've been screaming this was going to happen for months, if not years, as things have unfolded, and I think there was a lot of rage. And being down here today especially, moved to tears a few different times. Sure. Like, this never had to happen, but here we are. Who will be next? Because if there's no accountability, if nothing happens, as we have seen over and over with this administration, there's that fear as it could be anybody. This was a U.S. citizen. This was a white woman, who was trying to leave. And so there's a lot of sadness, but also rage that this can't keep happening, and something's got to change.
Yeah, I've been reflecting on this as this is just another victim of Nazi violence. Yeah. Just like Heather Heyer, just like the 30 plus people who have died in ICE custody and internment camps and concentration camps in foreign countries. And I was just talking to someone else about it, and I think it's starting to catch on, and people who maybe have been resistant to the idea of abolishing ICE are now coming around. Right. Is that also your experience?
I think so. I think that this all started with they want to get rid of criminals, the worst of the worst, and that's who I live in a very red area, and that's all you'd hear them all talk about. These criminals can't be here.
They elected the worst of the worst.
And I was like, you elected a literal felon. Yeah. I mean, he was found liable for sexual abuse. This is a horrible person. Nobody's illegal when you're president as a criminal. At this point, but also we're seeing that this was never about getting rid of mass murderers. This was about control, and really they're slowly going after groups. The Somali community here is just being harassed and harmed so much by this administration. And I said, well, we had the trans community, but they needed a new group to go after. And I'm like, there's the saying from I'm not going to remember, but when will it come for us, right? Eventually it will come for all.
Fascism always needs an enemy.
And so
when they vanquish one, they'll find another.
Yeah. And so we're seeing that happen. But as that happens, and as yesterday occurred, you are seeing cracks. You are seeing that people are starting to go, oh, well, that's too far. Or, oh, I saw the footage. Don't let people gaslight you about that fucking footage.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I hope I can curse, because I'm Pollyanna.
Yeah, you can.
Literally what I do. But yeah, we saw the fucking footage, and yet they're out here trying to tell us we didn't see what we saw. Like, I lost my shit yesterday when I heard Kristi Noem be like, they were stuck in the snow. I'm like, oh no. And the bad weather, I'm like, for Minnesota weather, it was beautiful yesterday. I was like, this woman's crazy.
Yeah.
She thinks we just
In her giant 80-gallon cowboy hat in Brownsville, Texas,
Right.
having no clue what
She had
happened.
been here for like, I think a day prior to this. Like, she had been in town to do some propaganda shooting, and like
They did a lot of Instagram shoots. That's right.
Then they left, and then this happens, and she tried to talk about the weather. I'm like, bitch, go away.
Well,
not.
let me finish with this kind of a general. I like to ask people this: if I was not standing here and it was Donald Trump, what message would you have for our Nazi white supremacist president?
I don't know if I should.
You don't have to keep it PG.
Could you just die already? Like, could you go away?
Yeah.
Like, I'm done. Like, just stop.
Well, let me have a follow-up, because I ask this of my audience all the time. What are you going to do when you wake up and there's a news alert that Donald Trump died in his sleep? Because, you can't live too long with Big Mac sauce coursing through your veins.
Right.
What are you going to do?
And while I know a lot of people want it to happen a different way, I'm cool if it happens that way. Because, like, honestly, then there's just less people to target.
Dead's dead.
Right. There will be celebration. And I foresee celebration that will be televised. Don't get me wrong, I think J.D. Vance is also super dangerous, if not more, with his ties with the Heritage Foundation. So, like, don't get me wrong, there will be trepidation in that, but there will also be celebration.
We're analyzing things I talk about all the time now, but it's good because it means it's on the minds of other people.
Yeah.
I think that J.D. Vance is not as dangerous because he doesn't have the hypnotic thing.
That's true.
Anything he
keep
says
that
doesn't just
MAGA.
get swallowed whole by
I also
the
think
MAGA
he'd be
mob.
easier to bully out. Like, I just think I don't think he's as like because
Weak sauce.
Trump is such a narcissist. He just like the bullying gets to him, but he continues to pivot. Whereas I'm fairly certain we could bully J.D. Vance to a point that would be successful.
You heard it here first, folks.
Not that I would ever condone bullying. Yes, I would. Bully Nazis. Period. Like, full stop. Like,
Yeah, no rest,
Yeah.
no sleep.
Like, I think I have my. Oh, I do. Yeah. Punch Nazis.
Punch Nazis. Well, thanks. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It was so nice to meet you.
Hang in there. We appreciate your work. It is important, especially, obviously, in times
Yeah.
like this.
And justice for Renee Good.
Yeah.
So, and you guys have a safe trip here. So thank you for coming.
We're happy to be here. So being from Washington, D.C., not being native to this community, I wanted to talk to some people who are from here, who are absolutely directly impacted by this. Obviously, as Americans who are actual patriots, not fake patriots, we care about what's happening in this country right now, and we are fighting being demoralized about it. Jordan, I'm with Jordan now. What's going through your head right now?
It's been a lot. This has been a building of attacks on our state and our community, our leadership here. Obviously, with all the attacks on the Somali community, and then the attacks on our governor, and just the attacks on us as a state have been hard. And then to have it just capped off with this after, we knew that this was going to happen at some point with this mass rollout of ICE across the country. It was going to happen somewhere at some time, and it's really depressing that it has happened here again, and obviously we dealt with something similar with George Floyd just a few years ago, and now we're going through this again. But in a way, I'm happy that it happened here because I know that Minnesotans have the resolve to come out and fight this, and they made a mistake making this mistake here because we do not stop once a member of our community is attacked, and this is the beginning of the end for them in my mind.
Yeah, it seems like it's an inflection point generally just across the country. I don't know what your experience has been or how much connection you have with conservative or conservative-coded people, but it seems as though there's a lot of people that are waking up to this, that they see the tape and they hear the lies from Donald Trump and they hear Kristi Noem spew her filth and disinformation and propaganda, and they realize, that's not what I saw. Are you witnessing that as well?
I am. I mean, I think this is our Orwellian moment, right? When they tell you to stop believing what your eyes tell you and what your ears, what you hear. And being online, obviously you never know how many of it's bots, how many of it is paid antagonists who are still trying to like push this propaganda. But out in public, you're not seeing it as much. We've definitely seen a lot of the Trump flags come down. We've seen a lot fewer Trump hats, especially I live out in rural Minnesota, where it felt like a Trump rally everywhere you went, and that's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing that. So I think they're being...
When do you think that's... directly after the shooting or
No.
prior to that?
It's been going for a while for sure, and I think that is why this shooting is going to be so impactful, because had this happened right away when there was still all that upswell of support after the election, they may have had a lot more people coming out to stand behind these authoritarian invaders. But at this point, I think they've been beaten and embarrassed to just not have that kind of support for them. And obviously there's huge outpourings of support here, and nobody wants to be on the receiving end of the kind of insults and pressure we're putting on these people for supporting this, because this is completely disgusting and unacceptable.
Let me end with this. If I were not standing here, but instead Donald Trump was, what would you say to him?
I'd probably be going to jail, honestly, but
you and me both, brother. You and me both.
No, I would just ask why. I mean, I wouldn't ask why. I would have nothing to say to him. There's nothing that he can mentally comprehend at this point. None of this is Donald Trump at this point. Donald Trump is a dementia-riddled old man wandering through the White House shitting himself, while the people around him are desperately grasping at every ounce of power he provides for them to insulate themselves from the consequences that are coming. And these consequences are coming, and he's just a tool. And I would tell him that, you're just a tool being used by all the people around you, and it's sad and it's pathetic, and you're going to die with a horrible legacy. No one is going to remember you fondly.
Well, thanks for being out here. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming out all the way from DC. We really appreciate the national solidarity that we've had out here. It means a lot, and we've needed it. Minnesota's often a forgotten flyover state, and it's nice to
I'm originally from Idaho,
so
I
you get it. So no, it's nice to have the national solidarity, because we've been dealing with a lot of attacks on the federal level, and LA gets a lot of attention, Chicago gets a lot of attention. Now it's like, yeah, we needed this for the moral support, because it's been hard. It's been a breaking point, and I think that this is what we needed for national solidarity here. So
well,
thank you so much.
I for one love America and Americans. No conditions.
Absolutely.
So I again.
Thank you so
and
much.
I'm feeling for you. This is a fucking terrible time.
It is. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
If federal authorities are saying they won't even entertain a joint and inclusive investigation, my question is, what are you afraid of?
Good afternoon from Minneapolis. It is absolutely a somber scene in the city, as one would expect, as one would imagine, having witnessed what we've witnessed, the bloodthirsty, cold-blooded murder of a citizen in her car, a mother of three, Renee Nicole Good, 37 years old, who's now being labeled by this administration of domestic terrorists, is labeling this woman a domestic terrorist. It is remarkable. And the party of law and order, the Justice for All party, Republicans, are now inhibiting justice, interfering with justice, obstructing justice, an investigation to seek information, to seek the truth about exactly what took place, where the officer's mind was. Not an officer, he's a masked secret police Gestapo agent of Donald Trump, but they're not looking for anything resembling evidence. And we know this because the FBI is now blocking the Minnesota investigative authorities from investigating this. This is from PBS. This should tell you everything you need to know. If indeed there's nothing to see here, there was no crime committed, everything was above board, they would say, here's all the evidence. Do your best. Let's get to the bottom of this. We want truth. We want justice for our officer. Set aside providing, administering justice for Renee Nicole Good. No. Even if they wanted justice for the officer, they would allow here's it all. Let's look into it. And that is not what's happening. Here's the headline from PBS News. Minnesota officials say they can't access evidence after fatal ICE shooting, and FBI won't work jointly on investigation. Minnesota's investigations agency said Thursday that the U.S. Attorney's Office has prevented it from taking part in the investigation into an Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer's fatal shooting of Minneapolis woman Renee Good, a 37-year-old mother of three. Quote, the investigation would now be led solely by the Federal Bureau of Investigations, an FBI led by Kash Patel, the guy who's gallivanting all over the country, going to wrestling matches and concerts, flying on a private jet, and having the FBI's SWAT team, highly trained agents, as bodyguards for his country star girlfriend. Very reliable, these people. Will now be solely led by the FBI, and the BCA would no longer have access to the case materials, scene evidence, or investigative interviews necessary to complete a thorough and independent investigation, Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension Superintendent Drew Evans said in a statement. It had been decided that the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension would investigate Good's shooting death along with the FBI, but that later was changed by the U.S. Attorney's Office, according to Evans. And look, I don't need to go into the litany of reasons why the U.S. Attorney's Offices all across the country under Donald Trump can't be trusted. He's putting his personal lawyers, Alina Habba, who is now out of New Jersey as a U.S. attorney because she was improperly, illegally put in there. Lindsay Halligan in the Eastern District of Virginia trying to secure persecution indictments against James Comey, against Letitia James that are being thrown out. Grand juries are saying, pound sand, we're out of here, you're not doing this. Same thing with Letitia James. So we can expect that kind of behavior, that kind of obstruction, also in this case with the U.S. attorney here. Now, thankfully, there are some Democrats, some good people on the scene here who aren't going to let this stand. The Attorney General of the state of Minnesota is one, Keith Ellison. He was on CNN yesterday talking about this, and I want to share it with you because this is something we all need to pay attention to relative to seeking justice, to honoring the memory of Renee Nicole Good. And there are people on the scene here, on the ground here, who have the power to do something about it. And they're not going to sit idly by while the FBI obstructs justice.
But I haven't seen everything. And I will tell you that but it all starts with an investigation, not a prosecution. It starts with an investigation. And if federal authorities are saying they won't even entertain a joint and inclusive investigation, that is deeply disturbing. And my question is, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of an independent investigation for? So I'm hoping that somebody over there at with the federal authorities understands the true damage to justice and the perception of justice that a closed off exclusive investigation would mean. It would mean that no matter what they come out with, it will be questioned. And maybe they don't care. You know, they've demonstrated a degree of cavalier conduct that is extraordinary and unprecedented. But I hope somebody over there understands that a meaningful, independent investigation that includes state authorities is essential to the cause of justice. And by the way, state authorities can investigate anyway. We don't need their authority. I mean, it's at least arguable, and I believe, substantially arguable, that there's a violation of Minnesota statutes here. And I could think of a number of potential charges. All of them depend upon an investigation, though. Mm-hmm. And the federal government can't stop Minnesota from doing its own. But I would hope that it wouldn't come to that.
There's a couple of things here that I think that need to be stowed away and understood. And that is the fact that this is someone who is, Keith Ellison, is someone who is speaking as a dispassionate administrator of justice. He's seeking
justice. He's not seeking revenge. He's not automatically jumping to the conclusion that there needs to be a prosecution. He is simply calling for an investigation. He said it starts with an investigation, not a prosecution. This is completely counter to the way that Donald Trump and this entire administration, from Donald Trump to J.D. Vance to Kristi Noem to Pam Bondi to Kash Patel, all of them, the way they're acting. They're saying, oh, case closed before Renee Good was even off the scene, before any facts were known. The other thing that I want to see here, and listen, there's a chance I'm going to get to sit with, very briefly probably, the Attorney General. Busy guy right now, as you could imagine. I'm going to press, there should be charges. There should be criminal charges placed against this individual who, by all accounts, Jonathan Ross is the agent's name. The killer, his name is Jonathan Ross. He's a resident of Minnesota. Just because he's a federal agent does not mean, it does not extricate him or remove him from the possibility of accountability, of consequences for the crime that he committed. And I'm speaking as a partisan. I'm not speaking as someone within the Justice Department or someone within the framework of the legal system here in Minnesota. I want to see accountability. Now, if it's found through an investigation that I'm wrong and he didn't murder her, then I want to see justice done, whatever that is. But it seems self-evident to me, based on the number of times that I've watched that horrific clip, that we know what happened. So there's really only one way to look at this, as I see it, is that you've got Donald Trump, the Donald Trump administration absolutely obstructing when the FBI is saying, you can't see the evidence. We're not going to provide you any resources whatsoever to do your job, to seek justice, to find justice, even for their officer, as I said. It tells you everything you need to know. Anyway, I'm going to be on the scene here today, hopefully talking to more people and participating in some protests. If there is one in your area, and there are many all over the country, I would highly recommend, it is your civic duty, just as it is mine and all of us, to raise our voices when injustice happens, because if there is injustice for anybody, there's no justice for all of us. Sound off in the comments below. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. Before I leave, though, listen, if you appreciate what I do, if I bring you value, if me coming out to Minnesota does something for you that you appreciate and you can afford to $2 a month to help support this work, I would appreciate it very much. You can become a channel member on YouTube by clicking the join button, or even better, a better option is go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. $2 goes a long way if we're able to marshal the size of this audience and supporting independent media. I think another self-evident point is that it's more important now than it ever has been.
Everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Every single one of you.
Anytime that something like the incident, the tragedy, the murder that took place here in Minnesota happens, anytime something like this happens, the administration doesn't roll out Donald Trump. They try to roll somebody out whose brain works appropriately, who is at least semi-articulate in matters of communication. And so yesterday they rolled out J.D. Vance. He did two. He did a Fox News interview and he did a press conference in the White House press briefing room. And I want to start with this particular clip that is unrelated to the incident here in the situation on the ground in Minnesota. It's unrelated to the murder of Renee Good, but it tells you, what I want to do is paint a picture for the framing of how they look at the law. In this clip, this is J.D. Vance talking about the legal authority to invade Venezuela, and he's talking about the War Powers Act. He's talking about Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, Clause 11, if you want to nerd out about it and read the Constitution. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 11 of the Constitution is the granting of the unilateral granting of to the unilateral power of Congress the power to declare war. And J.D. Vance is deciding which laws are fake and invalid and which they will follow. And it tells you everything you need to know going forward, even about domestic matters, that they're just picking and choosing. They're choosing which laws are on the book, which articles in the Constitution are fake or invalid. I think that's the word he used, fake and unconstitutional. Fundamentally, a fake and unconstitutional law. The War Powers Act, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 11. Watch this.
Technicality than any disagreement in policy. If you look at the people who actually voted, every single one of them have supported the administration's plan. Second of all, as the president, I believe himself has already said, every president, Democrat or Republican, believes the War Powers Act is fundamentally a fake and unconstitutional law. It's not going to change anything about how we conduct foreign policy over the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months, and that'll continue to be how we approach things. Go ahead.
So now that we have you fully understanding the mindset of MAGA, the mindset of J.D. Vance, the same J.D. Vance who called the man he serves, the man he licks the boots of, the man he is a lapdog for, that guy he called America's Hitler, who he's now on board serving America's Hitler. He also did a Fox News interview yesterday. And he said some very alarming things about this mass deportation operation that's running all across the country right now. And he framed it, one, he likes to frame this as a law enforcement operation. It is not. It is not illegal to exist in the country without permission from the Secretary of State. What is illegal, what is a misdemeanor, is to cross the border illegally. But you're just being here in the country existing, there is no crime that's being committed. So this is not a law enforcement operation. But he says something about going door to door. And he used that particular phrase more than once yesterday. And I think should be ringing alarm bells in the minds of every American who hears it. Because what exactly does that mean? We'll talk about it after the clip.
What we've done is actually gotten 2.5 million illegal aliens out without any of the really big marquee things that we've been working on. That was just simple willpower and the President of the United States coming in and saying this is done. I think we're going to see those deportation numbers ramp up as we get more and more people online, working for ICE, going door to door and making sure that if you're an illegal alien, you've got to get out of this country, and if you want to come back, apply through the proper channel.
As they ramp up the employment, listen, I've already talked at length. It's sickening the caliber of individual, or the lack of character and caliber of individual that they are ramping up to go door to door in America. People who are functionally illiterate, who cannot pass open book tests to cover the things, to demonstrate that they understand the concepts of law, of not violating people's Fourth Amendment rights, of Fifth Amendment rights, of Sixth Amendment rights, of 14th Amendment rights. And then he says that they're going to go door to door. Does that mean that on my block, they're going to come to my house and knock on my door, kick in my door looking for illegal immigrants to arrest, to kidnap, to send to internment camps, to deport to countries or continents they've never even been to before? Is that what he intends to have us believe, that it's a door-to-door operation? Because I can tell you, it is alarming that the party has for years, that we won't take this tyranny, these jackbooted thugs, these armed agents of the state. And then as soon as the armed agents of the state come and start usurping powers, drawing in powers for themselves that don't actually exist, all of those MAGA patriots are silent or clapping, applauding, cheering this on. Because it was never about tyranny. It was about the oppression of others for them. And that's exactly what is being done right now by this Donald Trump administration. Now, Fox News interview out of the way. Let's go to the White House press briefing room, where he doubled down on the door-to-door comment.
On duty, or has he been placed on leave, on administrative leave? And what really was the target of the operation on Wednesday? ICE operation on Wednesday?
Well, first of all, it was a legitimate law enforcement operation. We were going door to door to try to find criminal illegal aliens and deport them from the United States of America, because if you come to our country illegally in violation of our immigration laws, then we have the mandate, and in fact, we have the legal duty to enforce those immigration laws. Whether he's been placed on administrative leave, I don't know the answer to that question. I'd refer it to the Department of Homeland Security, and they can follow up. I will say, look, I would appreciate everybody saying a prayer for that agent. Look, in the past 6 months, he has been hit twice by a motor vehicle. One time, the first time, it led to over 30 stitches and very serious injuries to his legs. This is a guy who's actually done a very, very important job for the United States of America. He's been assaulted, he's been attacked, he's been injured because of it. He deserves a debt of gratitude, and I think the media prejudging and talking about this guy as if he's a murderer is one of the most disgraceful things I've ever seen from the American media. Yeah.
Two things, obviously. I've already talked about the door-to-door thing. A woman has been killed, a mother of 3. Renee Nicole Good was gunned down in her car by a federal agent, and he doesn't want any prayers for her. No prayers for her children. No prayers for the surviving family members of her. No. Pray for the agent. Pray for the gunman. If you've watched the clip, and I normally do not recommend people watch police shooting videos. That has been kind of my whole thing in the past because it's trauma-inducing. But when the government is willy-nilly murdering citizens in the street, you have to watch it. You must pay attention because this will not be the first citizen killed at the end of a gun that is possessed and fired by a federal agent. It will not be the last time. They are killing citizens and then asking you to pray for the killer. It is unconscionable, to say the least. One more clip where he lies, bald-faced lie, about what took place. We've all seen the clip. She was not attempting to run over the agent. And here, this is J.D. Vance demonizing the victim of one of his masked secret police. Jonathan Ross is his name. Watch this.
People in this room have been lying about this attack. She was trying to ram this guy with her car. He shot back. He defended himself. He's already been seriously wounded in law enforcement operations before, and everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Every single one of you. Questions?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
It's rich for a liar to call other people a liar, is it not? The demonization of this woman is something that history will not look fondly on because of video evidence. And thankfully, there are people out there who had enough sense and enough situational awareness to break out their phones and start recording. We have many, many angles, multiple angles of this. There is likely body camera footage that, unless it gets adjudicated in court, we're not going to see because they are suppressing the release of any evidence. And all of that points to the fact that this guy, Jonathan Ross, was not justified to pull the trigger. In fact, he was escalating a situation that did not need to be escalated. She was driving 1 or 2, maybe 3 miles an hour. Her wheels were turned to avoid him. The gunshot went through the corner of the windshield. If you watch the video, he almost reaches around to kill her. And J.D. Vance has the temerity to sit there like a smug dick and malign her while asking for prayers for the killer. Gross. Gross. What do you think? I invite you to this conversation. Let's have it in the comments below this video. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054, or email me daily@dollemore.com. I'm going to go. Got a lot to do today. I'm going to be out in the street talking to some people, protesting, raising my voice, exhibiting my opposition to this madness, and I hope you do too. We are out here at the Whipple Federal Building in Minneapolis, Minnesota, in the presence of what could only be described as cowards in masked Donald Trump's secret police, the Gestapo. We've got DeWoke Farmer, Will Kelly over here, with a contingent of protesters and actual patriots to the country who are protesting this.
If you If you were Americans, you would be over here with us. If you believed in the Constitution,
This is exactly what I've been talking about Minneapolis being a different kind of city. The people here have resolve. They're not going to stand for the murder, the cold-blooded, bloodthirsty killing of a citizen here, and they have showed up. The feds apparently, or the police yesterday came and they tore down all of the barricades that were blocking from 33rd to 34th Street on Portland Avenue. And it is just a response from the city and the citizens here to do the noble thing, the right thing, the decent thing, to protest, as you can see right here. Shame on the masked cowards. Too ashamed of the work they do to show their face.
why are you betraying the Constitution? Why? Make it make fucking sense, assholes! Alright, 3, on 1, we want fuck you Nazis. 3, 2, 1, fuck you Nazis!
Trump is going to be around forever and you will be held accountable. You're criminals. Doing this under the auspices of Trump's authority is not. You will be held accountable. Your smug, unearned arrogance will be rewarded with fucking prosecutions, cowards. Keep staring, little guy. Fucking weakling.
Special treatment? Look at you. What is he doing wrong? It's a fucking sidewalk. Well, we can't use the fucking sidewalk? Oh, what? He's a Proud Boy, so he can stand here? Is that what
Nazis get special treatment?
Why are you enforcing the rules on us, but not him? Now you're gonna fucking do it. Now you're gonna fucking do it. God damn, shame on you.
Cozy to the Nazi, huh?
They're not gonna protect you, bro! Oh, really?
Fuck off, coward!
What about him? What about him?
He's okay, but
What
we're
about
not.
him?
Masked Nazi fucks! Cowards, too ashamed of what you do to show your face, you little bitch! Half-pint bitches! Half-pint little cowards!
Look at this one. Arms out so he looks big.
Puff your arms out so you look like a real man!
Put your chest out too, honey.
Little guy. You're just a little guy. Do you feel tough? Does it make you feel tough with your bear spray, pussy?
Cut!
You do feel tough? You shouldn't. You should be embarrassed.
I know, that's the reason for having arms like
Little bitches, that's what it is, huh? Not one of you has strength. Not one of you has honor. Not one of you has dignity. You're all cowardly little bitches cosplaying as a military. But don't worry, the real military, the veterans, we're out here.
Woo!
And we fought this nation's wars. We fought Al-Qaeda. We know how to fight an insurgency. And when the First Amendment fails, remember what side of history you are on, you Nazi fucking scum. Hell yeah.
Murderers! Show your face! Be proud! Show your face!
Renee Good! Renee Good!
Renee is good!
Our community is good! Renee Good! Renee Good! Renee Good! Renee Good! You're an asshole!
You're from New York! What the hell? Get out of Minnesota!
Imagine being prideful that you're trying to create a fucking white ethno-state, you Nazi cunts. Yeah, miniature Nazis. Miniature in ethics, miniature in morals, miniature in stature.
Show your face, pussy! Show your face! Sure. Supporting racism! Show your face! Show your face! If you're so proud of what you're doing, show your damn faces! Show your damn face!
Get a real job, you coward!
Show your face, you coward! You know that Jonathan Ross was identified because he showed some of his face. That's why you covered your face. You're covering your whole face. Except you can't breathe, so you can off your mouth or your nose. So you can't breathe, but you can get outside.
Yeah, you, BLT6. What are you looking at? I'm talking to you. Quit your job. Hey, Edith, quit your job. Hey, Edith, quit your job. Hey, Edith, quit your job.
Quit your job. Quit your job. Save face. Quit your job. Save face. Quit your job. Save face.
Get out of our community.
If you quit your job.
Retreat! Retreat! Run away! Run away! You left the smallest one to hold down the fort? That's not tactically sound. You left the little guy to hold down the fort. You left the oldest, smallest one? Oh, the little guy's running away now too. Old man. You will be held accountable for taking orders from a child rapist. You know that, right?
Release them! Release them! Let them go! 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 Let them go!
They are talking about people who have been arrested on the site here, protesters that are cuffed and detained behind the gates here. I don't know exactly why all of the cowards who are masked ran away.
Let them go! Honor the Constitution! They have a right to peacefully assemble! It's called the First Amendment! If you haven't heard of it, you traitorous scum! Free the people!
Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech, the freedom to peaceably assemble, the freedom to redress your government of your grievances. You swore an oath to that Constitution, you little Nazi fuck, remember? I swore an oath to it when I fucking enlisted in the Marine Corps, bitch.
Do you see any checks on your power on the world stage? Is there anything that could stop you if you wanted to?
Yeah, there's one thing, my own morality, my own mind. It's the only thing that can stop.
The New York Times published an interview with Donald Trump yesterday that should be the top of the news everywhere. The quotes from Donald Trump disregarding international law, U.S. law, any constraints or restraints on his power. He believes he is a king-like figure. He doesn't believe that he is a servant leader, that he is a public servant. He believes that we are his subjects. We are subject to him, that he is not subject to the laws. He is not constrained by the laws, that all he has to go on and the only authority he needs is whatever morality he has in his empty bucket of a brain. That this man who is a convicted felon, a credibly accused rapist of children, someone who is an adjudicated sexual assaulter of women, he believes that he has the total right to do anything he pleases. This is the headline from the New York Times. Trump lays out a vision of power restrained only by, quote, my own morality. On topic after topic, President Trump made clear that he would be the arbiter of any limits to his authorities, not international law or treaties. He would be the arbiter. He'll decide just how much power he has. What's the history of the world when a dictator takes power? Do they say, oh no, that's too much power for me. I need to dial it back a little bit. I need be a little bit more reasonable and constrained in my execution of my authority. What dictator ever did that? What tyrant ever did that? What megalomaniacal, demented lunatic ever did that? This is from the article, and there are some doozy quotes in here. President Trump declared on Wednesday evening that his power as commander-in-chief is constrained only by his own morality, brushing aside international law and other checks on his ability to use military might to strike, invade, or coerce nations around the world. Asked in a wide-ranging interview with the New York Times if there were any limits on his global powers, Mr. Trump said, yeah, there is one thing, my own morality, my own mind. It's the only thing that can stop me.
Do you see any checks on your power on the world stage? Is there anything that could stop you if you wanted to?
Yeah, there's one thing, my own morality, my own mind. It's the only thing that can stop it.
If Donald Trump had a powerful mind, I would think, oh yeah, maybe that's good because his powerful mind could stop him. But Donald Trump does not have a powerful mind. He is driven by his weakness, by his insecurities. He's driven by his cracked, broken ego. Begging for the Nobel Prize. Whining when he doesn't get it. The man who was not hugged enough by his father and probably hugged far too much by his mother thinks that he is unrestrained, that he can do anything he wants unless his powerful mind stops him. These are the rantings of someone who should not be in power in any way. He shouldn't be a city council. He shouldn't be on the board of a homeowners association, and yet he's found himself with MAGA approval to be president of the United States of America, the commander-in-chief of the world's most powerful military that has ever existed. He has the nuclear codes within his grasp and is saying that it's his own morality, the credibly accused rapist of children, his morality will be his constraint. How's that worked out in the past? I don't need international law, he added. I'm not looking to hurt people.
Not international
and
law.
That's very good. I don't need international law. I'm not looking to hurt.
One, I don't buy that. I think Donald Trump is absolutely seeking to hurt people. I think it brings him great joy. It brings him contentment to harm people, to watch people in misery. And the evidence is the shuttering of USAID, the stripping of health care, the stripping of food assistance, the removal of a woman's bodily autonomy to make health care decisions relative to her reproduction. All of these, and there's a litany. There's probably 10,000 things I could list right now. I'm not looking to hurt people. It doesn't matter whether you're looking to, even though I believe you are hurting people. And the fact that you don't view your harm of people as harm of people is a problem in and of itself. When pressed further about whether his administration needed to abide by international law, Mr. Trump said, I do. But he made clear he would be the arbiter when such constraints applied to the United States. Not lawyers who are experts in international law, not people at the DOJ, not his attorney general, not his advisors. He is the sole arbiter of how much power he has. Like a king, like a dictator, like a tyrant, like a Kim Jong-un type. Not in America, brother. Not in America. It depends what your definition of international law is, he said. It depends on what your definition of international law is. I mean, maybe we all know the answer to this question, but are you fucking stupid? It depends what the definition of international... We know what the definition of international law is. It's clear, it's outlined, it's basic. And the fact that basic words and concepts elude you is enough to disqualify. It should be enough to impeach, convict, and remove and forbid from running for federal office again. Final paragraph here. Mr. Trump's assessment of his own freedom to use any instrument of military, economic, or political power to cement American supremacy was the most blunt acknowledgement yet of his worldview. And its core is the concept that national strength, rather than laws, treaties, and conventions, should be the deciding factor as powers collide. I knew that this second term would be worse, but I had no idea exactly the trouble we would find ourselves. Everybody knew that it would be bad. I don't think anybody knew that it would be this bad. This bad, this quickly, certainly. A lot of people will, I'm not surprised by this. You should be surprised by this. You should be surprised, maybe not by the actions of Donald Trump, but there is zero pushback from Republicans. They are so weak. They are such just grinning idiots in the presence of Donald Trump, applauding tyranny. The man who said he has the authority to cancel all rules and regulations and articles up to and including the Constitution of the United States, the party that whips out their little pocket constitutions like a prop, has nothing to say. As he does interviews like this, that should be alarming to anybody, especially those of us who have raised our right hand and sworn oath to the Constitution, a solemn vow to support and defend. I know probably foreigners, especially people who live outside of the United States, probably like, they're always saying the stupid line that they say all the time about support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. But those are important words. And when you attach that, you append that to an oath. It's not just a little cute saying. You're raising your hand and you're swearing. And if you're religious, you're swearing before your God that you're going to support and defend all of the Constitution. And these phony patriots, these phony Christians, I don't have a word for that, they're just liars. They want to oppress black and brown people. It brings them giddiness, glee. They are beside themselves with joy to watch people oppressed, their freedoms suppressed, their ejection from the country, the detainment and arrest of American citizens by immigration officials. There will be consequences. I don't know how they'll come. I don't know when they'll come. But I do believe there will be consequences. What do you think? Where am I wrong? Where am I right?
It was a perfect attack. Think of what we've done. I mean, we've taken over a whole country. The oil that we've taken $4 billion worth of oil in one day.
Donald Trump was on Sean Hannity's show last night, really just broadcasting to the planet that he is a megalomaniacal, I don't want to parse words, I don't want to be insensitive, fucking idiot. How about that? Yesterday, Sean Hannity, who's been really banging the drum that Maria Machado, the resistance leader of Venezuela, who got the Nobel Prize this last year, that she should turn over the prize to Donald Trump. Hannity interviewed her and asked her about it. And she, in this weird, obsequious manner, said, oh, I want to share it with him. We want to share it with Donald Trump as he bombs countries indiscriminately. He's bombing Iran. He's bombing Nigeria. He's bombing Venezuela. He's threatening Panama. He's threatening Cuba. He's threatening Mexico next on the list. He's threatening Denmark and Greenland and Norway and Canada. What did I miss? Colombia. He's leveling military threats across the globe. She wants to share the Nobel Peace Prize with him. And Hannity didn't miss the opportunity to touch on the topic with the dipshit Donald Trump.
Let me ask you about Maria Corina Machado. I've had her on TV this week.
Yeah, she's a very nice person.
Okay, she won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes.
When she accepted that Peace Prize, she dedicated it to you. She said to me this week, both on TV and radio, that she wants to give the Nobel Prize, her Nobel Peace Prize, to you for liberating her country. In 2023, she won over 92% of the vote to be the leader of the opposition. Maduro kept her off the ballot. Do you have any plans to meet with her? And would you accept the Nobel Prize she wants to hand to you?
Well, I understand she's coming in next week sometime. And I look forward to saying hello to her. And I've heard that she wants to do that. That would be a great honor. I did put out 8 wars. 8 and a quarter, because, you know, Thailand and Cambodia started going at it again. So
I'll put the list up
I give
if
a
you
quarter,
want.
so it's,
Yeah.
you put the list out, it's a hell of a list. But I've stopped 8 wars. And I think, it's been a major embarrassment to Norway. Now, I don't know what Norway has to do with it, but that's where the committee is located, a lot of Norwegian people. And it's been a very big embarrassment to the country of Norway, whether they have anything to do with it or not. I think they do. They say they don't. But, when you put out 8 wars, in theory, you should get 1 for each war, okay? Because some of these wars were going on for 30 years.
So if you're following along at home, he wants 8 Nobel Peace Prizes. I don't know why he's not satisfied with the soccer Peace Prize that he got, that he put on his own head. He, yoink, took the medal, put it on himself. The metaphor is it's just lousy with metaphor for what Donald Trump is and who he is. It's a major embarrassment to Norway. It's like saying it's a major embarrassment to Donald Trump and the United States that There Will Be Blood didn't win the Oscar in whatever year that was, 2008, 2009, against No Country for Old Men. It's a major embarrassment to the United States that the Oscars didn't do, because the United States doesn't have anything to do with that. It's not a governmental thing. The Nobel Committee is not governmental. He knows it. He mentions it twice, as he says that he deserves 8 Nobel Prizes in 1 year for the 8 and a quarter wars. One of the wars that he ended actually started again, so he's taking quarter credit even though the war's not over. It's hard to follow the fucking moron that is the president of the United States, but if I'm putting the pieces together, if I'm connecting the dots, like one of Donald Trump's Alzheimer tests, I think I got it straight. The interview really went off the rails when Donald Trump started talking about Venezuela. The president of peace is talking about the country that he invaded, that he is now stealing the oil of, that he believes is his, that he is now taking the money that they're going to get from it and deposited it into offshore accounts. It's not even running through the United States Treasury. Take that on for size. Watch this.
And Obama should have done it. They all should have done it. Clinton should have done it. Obama went the other way. Obama decided to go with Iran. I don't know how Jewish people can vote for Biden and Obama. They were absolutely on the side of Iran. They were against Jewish people. Or Mamdani. Well, we're going to find out.
Your favorite mayor.
Well, I have a very nice relationship, but I thought it would take at least maybe a month or 2 months before he went after me. He hit me on the attack on Venezuela, which is pretty unusual because not too many people have hit us. That was a perfect attack. Think of what we've done. We've taken over a whole country. We're going to make the country strong and good, and we're going to ultimately be able to vote and put somebody in that they like. The oil that we've taken $4 billion worth of oil in 1 day, and that'll increase. We're going to have it rebuilt. All the big oil companies are coming in. They're going to make a lot of money, and Venezuela's going to get some of that money, and we're going to get some of that money. And we brought stability to the region. We brought stability and much lower oil prices. You know, we have gasoline now down to, in many cases, $1.99 a gallon.
Wait. I thought, this is very strange. I thought that the arrest of Maduro was a law enforcement operation. I thought it was about the indictment that the DOJ secured. I thought it was about him having unregistered machine guns, which is in the indictment. Why is Donald Trump saying this was an attack, a perfect attack, just like his perfect phone call and every other thing he labels as perfect? Why is that? If it was a military attack, it can't be the other things that they say it is. If it's about the law enforcement operation that was just backed by the United States military, then why is he talking about oil? Why is he talking about we've taken the oil in the perfect attack, and that a lot of people are going to become rich and make a lot of money based on that attack and that stealing of the oil? Donald Trump is so comfortable with his newfound disregard, maybe it's not newfound, but certainly the powers that he feels he has, he is untouchable. Thanks to the June 2024 ruling by the United States Supreme Court, that Donald Trump has absolute immunity from prosecution for any crimes he commits as President of the United States. He fully understands that. Our career criminal president, our convicted felon president, understands that there are no constraints, there are no guardrails to his power. His perfect. Anytime Donald Trump starts labeling something perfect, you know something's fucked up, right? Anyway, what do you think? Let's talk about all of this. Our slumped over, osteoporosis suffering president. He looks like a human apostrophe sitting in that chair. I'd love to know what you think. Comment below. You can also call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. I love and appreciate you very much. I would ask this. If you appreciate what I do, if I bring you value, if you watch my videos with any regularity and get something out of them, please consider supporting independent media. If I'm not your guy and there's somebody else out there on TikTok or Instagram or here on YouTube or Facebook, they got a Substack and they do more for you than me, support that person in independent media. It certainly doesn't have to be me, but obviously helping me helps me. I would appreciate it. You can become a channel member on YouTube. Click the join button below, or the even better option is to go to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. I love and appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time from Minnesota. Be genuine and take care of one another.